Hi, everyone. I'm Ross Trelev, and welcome to another Sprague Spotlight interview. I'm joined with a very special guest in our Salt Lake office. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Thank you, Ross. My name is Ginger Alford, and I have been working here with Sprague for over 20 years now. It's been a great experience. Has been never knew where I was going to go. And this company has been, when I first started, like you always do, yeah, you're not sure if you'll stay or not stay. And as time went on and I got to know the family better and I got to know the business and saw what a great support they were in the team and the family unit that was here, it totally fit into my values also. And I have loved working here ever since. When I first started, it was they had a different office. It was a smaller office.
Yes, we did.
Yes, uh, and it was more like a small house that they had converted into an office, which was kind of quaint. I thought that was really kind of cool. And but everybody, like I said, you walked in and you felt like you were walking into a family setting, even for the first time when I first walked in. And so that is one of the main things that attracted me to Sprague. And I remember Annie, who is still with the company,
Yeah,
and at that time, she, I think, had her first child.
that's about right.
And
Yeah. That was
yeah,
about 25 years ago that she started. So,
yes. And she her baby was with her right beside her in the playpen, and so she was allowed to have her baby with her all day long. And it was kind of cool because everybody would come along and pick them up and play with them and talk with them and feed them. And so that was very, very cool, I thought, that you guys allowed her to do that and to continue to work and also have her children with her. And you guys just took them in and treated them just like your own brother or sister. And so that was really cool.
uh, that's a
Yeah.
fun memory. Yeah, 25 years ago, I was 16 and I was just starting to work summers here. And so, I sort of barely remember some of that time frame, all those years ago. I love that you remember that.
Yeah, it was cool. And then I do remember, like you said, the first time I think I met you was when you came here to Salt Lake to go skiing with your family.
Well, yeah.
And you and AJ came in with Alfie and Larry and the whole family. And I remember how energetic you guys were. You just wanted to get on the slopes. You didn't care about hanging around in the office. You guys just wanted to go get on the slopes. And
As
but
a kid, I think that the idea of mixing both going to the office or work with vacation was sort of foreign. Like it's good. But now as an adult, I understand exactly why my parents would do something like that.
yes, yes. And I thought it was cool. And it was a great way too. There again, they, brought the whole family in. We all got to hang out with you guys for a while and then to see you in a different way than just a pure business and talking about business. We were able to have those deeper conversations, those more fun conversations. And again, that was one of the highlights whenever you guys would come into town. So I knew you were gonna come in at least once a year to go skiing, maybe sometimes twice. But we always loved to see you guys. And then once you got older and started working for the company, then we saw your faces more. And then when you, Ross, became the branch manager for Denver,
Yeah.
and that's cool because then you also got to be our branch manager for a short little
That's
tiny
true. It
bit.
was my first what we call stretch assignments around here. It's when you're we see how you do under a little pressure of doing more. That was my first real stretch assignment, was coming to
Yeah.
help Salt Lake. Yeah, right.
And yeah, we totally enjoyed having you. It was,
I enjoy being there. I mean, I always enjoy being in the Salt Lake office. It's just
yeah,
so many great people, and but it didn't start that way. It was very small when you joined us. I mean, you mentioned the small house like office that we had, but
yes.
we've only operated in Salt Lake for a little over 20 years, and yet you've been with us for 20 years. So what was it like when you first started? How many people were there? What was
Okay.
yeah.
And it was a small office, a couple of rooms and a little tiny meeting room with a small warehouse, very small.
Oh yeah.
We had a branch manager, a salesman, and two technicians at that time. And Nestle was our big account.
Oh, that's
And
right. Yeah.
yeah, and then we also had what was it? It used to be JB Swift, our
Oh yeah,
EA
yeah.
Miller. It
Yeah.
was EA Miller, the meat plant.
I
And
think we
so
were doing all
those
that work for Copasan at the time too, weren't we?
we were,
Yeah.
yep, it was Copasan, and that's what brought us here to Salt Lake was the Copasan work. And then from there we just grew. But you're right, it was just a little handful of people here that started out. And but it was fun to have a small office because you really get to know each other and everybody helps one
Absolutely.
another. And but we covered a good part of the state, even though we only had the two techs. We did at least 3/4 of the state with just those two techs. And when I think about it now, it's kind of like, how did we do that?
A really good question. How do
Yeah.
we do that? And I think of that sometimes in some of the areas that we are stretched in. Even to this day, we're stretched in some of the far reaches of Utah. And I think to myself, how are we doing that? But
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah.
get it done.
And sometimes it's like you just put your hat on and you go, and you don't think about, gee, I can't get this done, or what else can I be doing. You just do it, and you just start swimming. And because sometimes you just have to get out there and test the waters. But we always had good support, and you guys were always here for us when we did struggle, when we weren't sure what we should do. I know when we started doing fumigations, that was a real scary thing for us because we didn't have that much experience with it.
Yeah.
And but you were here. Bobby came down a lot to be with us, to help us. Jeff was here. Jeff Miller was here. Jeff Weir. Everybody came in and helped us, and helped us grow and get the confidence that we needed. And now we do fumigations. We're not afraid of them at all. That's one of the things we love to go out and get, and would like to do more. And we kind of pride ourselves that we now are a really, really good team, and we do very well with the fumigations. It took us a few years, but we got to it, and I got to go on a few,
That's
even though
awesome.
yeah. So I was just the backup support person, but
That's
it was
okay.
fun to be able to go and see a big project being fumigated and being part of it and helping out. And so that was really fun for me to do. And I look forward to maybe the next one I can sneak on to, and I can be the the support person for everyone.
I
And
know
but
Tim Gallagher is really good at saying yes to everything and figuring it out later, and
yeah, exactly. And that's what Tim taught us. Tim's like, yep, you just say yes, we can do this.
yeah,
And he'd say, we'll figure this
we'll
out.
figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's enough of us here, and then we reach out to the people that have the other maybe in other companies that have
Yeah.
expertise, and you just learn from them. And so that is one of the things I also learned from Sprague, is don't be afraid to ask and for help. and there's always someone out there that will help you. And if you don't know, they can help you get to the right person to figure it out. And it's when I talk with other people that work in other industries or other companies, they're really surprised that we can do that, that we can pick the phone up and we can talk to anybody up at corporate. Like if I had to, I could pick the phone up and talk to you, Russ.
Of course.
And people are like astonished, like you can do that. And it's like they actually take your call, like you could have a conversation, and it's like, yes, that's the beauty of Sprague. You guys are so open and you want to help all of your employees to be the best that they can be. And are very vetted, and you, what am I trying to say? Your whole heart and soul is in the company. You're not just here to make money. You're here to make sure, just like your dad always says, and Alfie always says, you're always here. We're here to make life better for people, a safer environment, and
Yeah.
that's what we do. And so you guys prove that all the time for us and help us. You give us the same ability to do that and carry that through to the people we talk with.
Well, you and I were just talking about somebody who had just joined Sprague who was like, wow, you can ask anybody for help. And you were just telling me stories about how they can ask anyone for help. So over the years, you probably asked for help. You probably had some mentors. I know we've talked about some really great people you've worked with over the year. Who's had a big influence on your career while working here?
Um, I Joanne is no longer here. She was my first support person.
Yeah.
And she never made me feel like dumb for asking a question, or she was always there, and she always told me, just, you know, come to me, whatever you want, you just tell me and I'll help you. So Joanne was my first one that really helped lift me up and keep me going. Um, Mary Jo, that has been with Sprague just as long as she's from
Yeah.
Eugene. She became my other BAC that I reached out to a lot, and Jan that was in the Kennewick office.
That's right.
So
She
the
2 years ago.
2 years
2 years
ago.
ago now. Wow. Time flies.
Yeah. And so back then, even though, I mean, now we have teams where all the BACs get together, and we didn't have that then. There wasn't all of this really convenient way of keeping in contact and talking with each other.
Mhm.
But back then it was just a phone call and maybe emails, but we managed to do that. So they were really a good support. And I do have to say, and I'm sorry, Ari is gone,
Oh, I
but
miss Ari too. I know.
I know. And I know he was our IT guy, and he was always a huge support that way, but he was also a personal support. He just had a way of being able to help guide you the right way, and he had great recommendations on books to read and self-improvement things. Ari was always one of those ones he liked to uh, have you read to do a little bit more, even if you didn't think you could do something. So Ari was great for that, and I do miss him. But there's other people I know that are here at Sprague that feel that same way.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the people that have helped me along the way. Of course, Tim Gallagher, he's not here anymore. Tim was always a huge support when he came here to Salt Lake for us, to help us and to also not just help our office, but he would also help me. And sometimes he would fill fill me in all the things that were going on in Sprague land, because like I
Yeah.
said, back then we didn't have the Zoom calls and we didn't have the Teams and stuff. So he was kind of your ambassador that would
Mhm.
come and help to fill us in throughout the year at what was going on. And he always had great stories. And as you know, Tim is totally personable and
He's the
very
best.
gracious. Yeah, he's the best. And so those people have been great helps to me
That's
throughout the
fantastic.
years.
It's wonderful to hear all these wonderful people who have, come to Sprague and also now retired from Sprague and all the lasting impact they've had on the organization. It's really cool to celebrate them. I'm glad you mentioned their names.
Yeah. And unfortunately, because I've been here so long, those are the first ones that pull
Oh, of course.
to my mind. Yes.
Of course.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And Tabitha, I am so glad that you've had somebody that has that stepped up. And I remember when she first started doing it, she's like, I'm not really your boss or anything, but I'm here to help you. I'm going to be here to facilitate for you and to bring you guys together as a
Mhm.
team. And we had tried that before and it didn't always gel 100%.
Yeah.
But Tabitha has been able to truly gel the BACs together and keep us on, get the teams going and have regular monthly meetings and have really good topics for us to discuss in teaching to help, because I think that was one of the things the BACs needed a lot is we didn't have a regular training program like the techs did. So that has given us an avenue for us older BACs to help the younger ones and to also have us learn all the new technology. And as it's coming on, we have a place to be able to talk together and to work things out and come up with even better ideas. So that has been a really good thing that you guys have done to move the office team forward in Sprague too. And so
Well,
that yeah,
thank
that
you.
was a good
I
idea.
can't believe Tabitha's been here 5 years already, but
I
it's just
know.
awesome.
It
Annie,
doesn't,
25,
yes,
Ginger, 20,
I
Tabitha,
know.
5 years. I mean, there's so many wonderful people who have spent so much time. And I think it's one of the things that's so great about is that there's this consistent thread. And so when you tell these stories, I just get goosebumps thinking about all the great times we've had here over 20 years. And you've been
Yeah.
a huge part of that. And so it's just a pleasure for you to join me on the spotlight today. And Ginger, thank you and congratulations on 20 years.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful family to work for. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And as you know, we talk about you all the time. And even like my husband told you, yeah, he's one of your best ambassadors. We should probably hire him for that, right?
Oh, he told me himself that he's not employable anymore. That's what he told me. He
Oh,
said,
yeah. Yeah, he may
well,
not be employable, but he'll be an ambassador for you anyway.
he's the best. Well,
Yeah,
say hi to Jack for me. And
I
Ginger,
will.
thank you
You
again
too.
for joining me on the spotlight today.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Okay.